Ages of metabolic imbalance. Invisible friends, I am Logo and I want to share with you the logical steps we must take if we have a major disease and how to face it while continuing to attend to the treatments and recommendations of your doctors. It seems that the human tendency to stumble over the same stone and look for external factors to make them guilty of our calamities is a constant that is repeated non-stop, even in facts known and proven by science. We know that we cannot always control all the variables of our lives, but that is no excuse to let ourselves go and not intervene in our destiny in making important decisions for our present and future. No matter how much propaganda and advertising the soft drink companies do, I don't think there are many beings with some common sense who believe that consuming large amounts of these drinks will make them healthier. Our negligence is the seed of failure, and that statistically applies to 95% of metabolic diseases where cancer occupies a position of all-powerful king. That kingdom has a first-rate nobility such as Alzheimer's, hypertension, obesity, diabetes, leaky gut, fatty liver, insulin resistance, among other subjects faithful to arrogance and disqualification of scientific knowledge. Judging is very easy when we are not in the shoes of others. Economic, geographical, and social or cultural variables are parameters that govern our behaviors. But from an objective point of view, they are not 100% excuses to prevent us from looking for healthier options in our lives. If we have already seen the previous chapters, we already have enough information to gradually modify our lives and move away from the hidden forces that want to model us as empty beings without our own values. Our kindergarten in metabolic dysfunction begins with conditioning on the incentives or rewards in our early childhood. Our mistake is to believe that sweets are a reward. This reward becomes more of an addiction than a prize. It stands out a lot in the depressions and emotional imbalances that many infants present when demanding the corresponding dose when presenting withdrawal. These emotional polarities are accentuated when their diets are packed with children's cereals, which seems to really mean sugar-packed cereals. If you think the argument is false, read the composition of these and formula milks. Some try like the chameleon to show a healthy appearance is very sad for the addict conditioning by which the infant is led. The next step when the child is already fending for himself and goes to school is to delegate to him the power of decision about what his diet should be. Many times that he achieves by giving him money so that he decides what he should eat from breakfast to lunch. The system is not designed so that they can choose in the most assertive and healthy way, but on the contrary, the idea is that someone chooses for them, and that is logical since they lack clear knowledge about the consequence of their actions. And the fact of being able to break the rules makes them great as children, since that power makes them feel more adult. That path is conditioning to your metabolic scaffold and highway to all vices and addictions. The regularity of breaking the rules becomes a habit, and in turn a habit. Thus, we arrive at the baccalaureate of metabolic degeneration, where junk food in all its dimensions fosters a deep physical and emotional imbalance, altering our mind. This carousel of self-satisfaction opens bigger and bigger doors to all our metabolic imbalance. The appearance of stronger or more extreme vices is not accidental at these ages, and that ranges from alcoholic beverages, smoking, or entering a world of narcotics. All of these factors are interconnected to our metabolic performance. The university in biological deterioration is based on the consolidation of negative habits that affect our metabolism. It is easy to see the most obvious signs in these people. Many have obvious obesity, others are physically exhausted very easily, forcing the work they do by climbing several floors using the stairs despite their youth. One group is very easily identified by their poor eating habits by noticing withdrawal if they do not consume certain products that are usually full of flours, chemicals, and sugars. It is impressive how it affects them emotionally, and like any addict, they will have an infinite list of excuses not to give up those habits. It is not uncommon to know that they have fatty liver or already suffer from type 2 diabetes. Others a little more dedicated to its deterioration are hypertensive at an early age. Already as professionals of metabolic degeneration in middle age, they suffer more chronic ailments than their great-grandparents at the end of their days. This irony is a reality that is increasingly noticeable in younger people suffering from ailments considered uncommon in the times of our grandparents. How can it not be an irony if science has advanced a lot with respect to those times? The most blatant thing is still not to believe that the progress and development of technology is not opposed to the deterioration in the ethics of humanity. If not, why have they transformed us or led us to that path? Or do you think it's a kind of random coincidences? What is really important is to wake up and take our path with our possibilities, to move away from that life without consciousness or purpose beyond the meaningless and excessive pleasure that leads us to imminent fatalism. To love something or someone is to take care of that thing or person. And for that, awareness and knowledge are required. What is certain is that one cannot love someone or something doing catastrophic harm. Accidents may happen, but negligence and contempt for something or a person deliberately are conditions for the destruction of both material goods and personal relationships, or especially in health or metabolic well-being. At this point, the chronic opens the door to the fatal. The retirement of such an illustrious career and metabolic negligence and of all our biological health is very simple. It can be summed up in dying. Almost always our time of departure is ahead of what biological age should be. Without being cardiologists, we know that the tendency of hypertensive people is heart attacks and strokes in the brain. The most resistant in this aspect tend to be the winners of the varied tumors. There are very few who, being a disaster when eating and being plagued by vices, can reach advanced ages free from suffering the consequences. The solution is very simple. Do some exercise regularly. Eating foods that really nourish us. See the opening chapters to understand more about this issue. Maintain adequate hydration. Maintain an activity or purpose. With these tips, the body will know what to do and will not need anything out of a magician's hat to keep us healthy. To summarize, the ages of progressive metabolic imbalance are: Level 1. Conditioning to sweetness creates withdrawal and depression. Level 2. We are on the merry-go-round of pleasure. Our mental imbalance, conditional on reward. Level 3. Fulfilling our whims is normality. Denial of our biology is common. Blaming the external for our decisions. Level 4. Having a chronic health imbalance such as allergies, obesity, diabetes are attributed to phrases such as, "In my family we are like that, I have no other options," etc. Level 5. At this point, our metabolic neglect is developed. We usually already take several medications to stabilize us and others to eliminate adverse effects. We visit more doctors than family in celebrations. Level 6. At the last minute, we want to reverse any abuse or attack on health. And when we do not see the results, we criticize healthy living by saying that we are all going to die anyway. Level 7. The road is over, although we must think about the legacy or example to the youngest. And one thing is for sure, every good parent wants a better world for their children, so they can really choose their path. And in the case of metabolism, it is essential to have a basic knowledge of our biology and thus be able to live healthier with the truth in theory and practice. Do not let yourselves be indulging by the learned despair within or by other people who, like birds of ill omen, preach defeatism. If you like the video and want to help spread this information, Remember to click on the bell and subscribe to receive more information like this. Remember that step by step we can improve. The worst thing is to do nothing. Invisible friends see you in the mirror.